It looks good. It looks pretty darn good. Scoot over. There we go. I'd argue the Big Dipper might be the most famous group of stars in the sky. And for most of us, if you look north once the sun sets, you can find that iconic ladle and handle. While it may be higher or lower in the sky depending on the season, one thing remains the same. It's always there. So when Tumbleweed sent me this thing right here, the Big Dipper bar, I was looking for a similar reliability, a bar that would help guide me through countless days of loaded and unloaded off-road miles. So how did it fare? Let's dive into it and find out. By now, many of you have probably heard of Tumbleweed Bicycle Company, and perhaps a few of you have watched my Stargazer bike review from a few years back. And if you haven't, well, Daniel Malloy founded Tumbleweed Bicycle Company in 2014. Daniel's desire to bring bike packing-centric bikes and parts to the industry came from a passion for exploring far-reaching areas of the world. And he wanted a bike or part that could reliably bring you there. So enter the Big Dipper. And boy, is it ever big. So the Big Dipper is made from a triple-butted, heat-treated 7000 series aluminum alloy. The bar comes in three sizes, 51, 54, and 57 centimeter options. I ended up testing the 54 centimeter version, which has a 62 centimeter width at the widest part of the drops. So with any big drop bar like this, it's not the lightest, despite it being triple butted, coming in at 379 grams. However, the Big Dipper was built to be durable, passing fatigue and strength tests for mountain bike use, so a little extra weight is welcome for durability and peace of mind. So before we move on, I just want to take a quick moment to mention that this video is supported in part by Salsa Cycles. The Salsa Cycles Warbird is not just a decorated gravel race bike, but it's also an excellent choice for fun gravel rides or mixed surface bike packing. I've personally used the Warbird for a number of loaded trips, and I can attest to its versatility. It also boasts impressive mud clearance, numerous water bottle mounts, and a comfort-friendly geometry ideal for extended rides. So if you're in the market for a gravel bike and wanted to double as a bike packing option, the Warbird is a fantastic option for you. So for more on the Warbird, make sure to click this card right here, or you can also find a link below. Drop bars, well, they look simple, but somehow they're very complex at the same time. There are a variety of things that kind of make them unique, such as the material used, the flex, weight, durability, geometry, and how they feel with a particular hood. And perhaps the biggest change that we've seen with these bars over the last decade has been the extreme widths, many of which are even wider than 1990s mountain bike flat bar widths. So to better understand the width factor, I think it's important to know that I used this bar on a medium Otso Fenrir tie. And the importance here is that I felt like the reach on that bike was a bit short for me, and all of those details can be found in my full-length video, which is linked below. Long story short, the medium comes with a 416 millimeter reach, and with flat bars and an 80 millimeter stem on there initially, I just felt a little scrunched. But it was instantly a great fit once I put the Big Dippers on and I shortened that stem to 70 millimeters. But why? So the review shares that I was looking for more space for my kind of longer arms and my general preference for a more stretched out position. And while reach measurements are obviously a good starting point for fitting a bike, stem and bar adjustments help you kind of fine tune that overall fit. And adding the Big Dipper allowed for the additional length I was looking for paired with that shorter stem. Now, that's not all of the puzzle here. The Big Dipper also offers 5 degrees of back sweep and a relatively short for drop bar standards 50 millimeter reach. It all helped set me up for long days while also not drastically changing how the bar felt from drop to hood. For context here, the Zips bar that I've been using on the Santa Cruz Stigmata has a 70 millimeter reach, and a typical just road bike reach, drop bar reach, has 80 millimeter reach. So while 54 centimeter bars might sound drastic or super long, there is some compensation to bring the bar back or bring you back with that reach and sweep. The last factor here is riding style. Because I'm doing, say, less, I'd say, pushing and pulling up on the bar, at least much less than a flat bar found on my mountain bike or when I'm riding my mountain bike. I'm not putting extra stress on my arms and shoulders. Wide bars like this can actually increase fatigue, especially if you're consistently riding on more challenging terrain, or if you, say, are a shorter rider using a super wide bar that's not as proportional. So the point I'm getting at here is that every human has different geometry and every fit is unique. Even, say, the angle at which you position the drops in relation to the stem will affect the overall fit of the bars to the bike and to you. All of this said, I found that the fit of the 54 centimeter bar to be great, and while Logan could probably speak more on his experience with the 57 centimeter bar in relation to the 54 centimeter bar, he is much taller than I am. By the way, you can find his written review in the description below. So the Big Dipper offers a good amount of flex. Inherently, the wider the bar, the more flex, yeah. While I could feel that flex over rough sections like washboards or, say, lesser maintained forest service roads, especially when I was out here, it still offered a good balance of stiffness, allowing for reliable control and feel of the bar. But it never felt harsh in the sense of beating me up. So I always find myself in the drops with my finger on the brake lever on descents where I need to feel a little bit more locked in. And the Big Dipper really felt great. It just allowed that confidence I needed to tackle some pretty chunky high alpine roads. The drops are pretty darn balanced and round, measuring 109 centimeters. Not as shallow as my beloved Ritchie Venture Max XL bar, but not far off. And I actually found it super easy to quickly move from, say, the hoods to the drops, and it didn't drastically change my body position on the bike or restrict my use of the brake lever in any way. I also appreciate the not so drastic 20 degrees of flare. It's enough to kind of give you a little bit more length for those descents, but it's already such a wide bar, it doesn't really do too much more to help in that category. So riding on smoother roads, I often find myself leaning over and putting my forearms on the top of the bar on smooth sections of pavement or gravel. And I find that aero bars, I've used them in the past, but they're just kind of overkill and just an extra thing. So paired with a comfy bar tape like this Ergon 3.5 millimeter gravel bar tape, it felt good for a short while, although I wouldn't mind, say, like a flattened top section of the bar like some other options out there, which would certainly help kind of distribute the pressure a little bit more. So because this bar is so wide, you have a lot of real estate and places to kind of position your hands on top of the bar. I actually found myself changing it up quite a bit over long days in the saddle. I really like this spot right here, right on the edge, where it sweeps back quite a bit. This is a really kind of comfortable position, and it's actually still pretty wide, so it feels pretty natural. Now, one reason we've trended in the wider direction with drop bars is because they offer more utility. And Tumbleweed definitely understands the importance of fitting everything on the bar. So I tested a 42 centimeter bar recently on the Santa Cruz Stigmata, and I was surprised that I didn't actually mind riding a bar that narrow. That was until I started strapping things to the bar. I quickly realized on the Big Dipper that having a bit of space around the levers for shifting, braking, and just obstruction-free movement is safer and creates just a better overall experience. And of course, more room for accessories like lights, GPS, bells, and so on. And with this pretty large, it measured roughly 15 centimeters, this 31.8 millimeter clamp area, nearly all of the accessories that you need will probably fit up there. Finally, I did mount the Big Dipper with a micro shift bar end shifter, which worked out great, by the way, and it is absolutely the cheapest way to kind of convert from flat bar controls to drop bar controls. But I didn't want to expose my shifter cable because I hate the way that looks. So despite a somewhat drastic bend as the cable ran along the medium to shallow drop, I went for it and it worked. It worked really great. So if you are in that kind of situation, go for it because it works. So Daniel and Tumbleweed have kept their lineup fairly simple, but one thing has remained the same. They've really well thought out products that continue to be purpose built for long days and loaded gear. And the attention to detail with the Big Dipper is no different. So I've been using 50 and 52 centimeter bars. I've been working up to this 54 centimeter bar, but the thing about this is with the back sweep and relatively short reach, it kind of elevates their approach to a wider bar. They're not just making another product for the sake of it, but to build a better design. And that's something I really appreciate. So the Big Dipper comes in at 115 USD, a little bit on the higher side. After all, materials are money, and there's a lot of that here. But it is certainly in line with other aluminum bars in this category. So what do you all think about the Big Dipper? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And consider becoming a member of the Bikepacking Collective. Support from our members helps sustain this channel and really everything we do on BIKEPACKING.com. And the Bikepacking Collective also includes a lot of awesome perks, including the twice annual Bikepacking Journal. So for more details, click on the card in the top right corner. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, pedal further.